First of all, our first question: write a short note on the parameters used to describe the demographic transition in the developing countries like India. So demographic transition occurs in societies that transition from high birth rate and high death rates to low day birth rate to low death rate as part of the economic development of a country, from the pre-industrial to an industrialized economy. So here you can see demographic transition occurs in societies that transition from high birth rate and high death rates to low birth rate and low death rates and low birth rates as part of the economic development of a country, from pre-industrial to industrial economy. Usually it is described through the demographic transition model DTA that describes the population changes over time, and when population changes over the time, and there have been many theories to understand the complex mechanism of population growth over a longer period of time. Out of these, the theory of demographic transition is certainly leaps ahead than all the other theories. So out of this, the theory of demographic transition certainly leaps ahead than all other theories. This theory originally was given by Thomson and Nordstein. Please remember, so demographic transition theory given by Thomson and Nordstein. This is based upon the theory of demographic regulation, which asserts the man is able to foresee demographic catastrophe before it arrives and is able to take adaptive actions long before the nature forces the same upon him. So the theory, mainly demographic transition theory, here is based upon the theory of demographic regulation, which asserts the man is able to foresee the demographic catastrophe before it arrives and is able to take adaptive actions long before the nature forces the same upon him. This is the 4-stage model in general. Please see the diagram. First stage, second stage, third stage, and fourth stage you can see here. So 1 is mainly first stage, second mainly second stage. So first stage you can see, so birth rate mainly BR and death rate. So first times birth rate high and death rate is low. Death rate curve also mainly growing rapidly. Birth rate high and death rate high. Here you can see. And second stage, death rate is low but birth rate is high due to medical improvement, medical development, medical some important things we can see. And so that's why second stage we can see death rate is low and birth rate is high. And third stage, here birth rate is very low and death rate is low. Birth rate low but death rate is low again, and growth rate is high. Growth rate here very high. And last stage 4, demographic transition 4th stage, there you can see birth rate mainly is very low but death rate is better than birth rate. Death rate is better than birth rate, but birth rate is very low, like Japan, Norway, Sweden. They are mainly European countries and some of the other Asian countries, East Asian countries. There you can see demographic transition 4. So it is very bad situation, and now you describe all the things. So you can see the level and stages of demographic transition. The transition involves 4 stages or possibly 5. So in stage 1, pre-industrial society mainly, death rates and birth rates are very high and roughly in balance. In the stage 2, that of the developing country, the death rate drop rapidly due to improvement of food supply and sanitation, with the increased lifespans and reduced disease. These changes usually spans and reduce disease. These changes usually come about due to improvement in farming techniques, access of technology, basic healthcare, education, without a corresponding fall in birth rates. This produces an imbalance, and the countries in the stage experienced a large increase in population. In stage 3, birth rates falls due to access to contraception, increase in wages, urbanization, and reproduction in subsistence agriculture, and increase the status of education of women, and reduction of value of children's work, and increase in parental investment in the education of children, and other social changes. Population growth begins to level off, and last stage is fourth stage. During stage 4, there are both low birth rate here you can, and low death rate, very low death rate, mainly low birth rate and very low death rate. Birth rates may drop as well below replacement, and death rate high but birth rate is very low. Death rate is low but birth rate is very low. So mainly Germany, Italy, Japan, there you can see, and leading to the shrinking population and a threat to many industries that rely on population growth. The large growth of born during stage 2 ages creates an economic burden on the shrinking working population. Death rates may remain consistently low or increase slightly due to increase in lifestyle disease due to low exercise levels and high obesity and aging population in developing countries. So there you can see aging population only, and most developed countries are already in stage 4 of this model. The majority of developing countries are in the stage 2 and stage 3, and no country is currently still evolution relatively well in Europe and other highly developed countries. Many developing countries have moved into stage 3. The major exceptions are poor countries, mainly in sub-Saharan Africa and some Middle Eastern countries, which are affected by government policy and civil strife, notably Pakistan, Palestine, Yemen, and Afghanistan. There are 3 main parameters that are used for demographic transition. 3 main parameters that are used for demographic transition: birth rate, death rate, and growth rate. The birth rate reflects the total number of live birth of 1,000 population. This is the most crucial in this theory of demographic transition. Okay, and the quality of birth rate the quality of birth rate primary determine the growth rate and hence demographic transition. In countries like India, the birth rate is primarily responsible for the exploding population. The main fault is that despite all measures to curb the population, it cannot be brought down as the population base expands over the year. Due to the high birth rate, in fact, this young and expanding population base is main reason for higher growth rate in developing countries like India. It is estimated that almost 70% of live birth are attributed to this population base alone. Factors affecting birth rate: pro-natalist policies and anti-natalist. So pro-natalist and anti-natalist policies from government, abortion rates, existing age sex structure, social and religious beliefs, especially in relation to contraception, female literacy level, economic prosperity, poverty level. Children can be seen as an economic resource in developing countries, as they can earn money. Impact mortality rate, urbanization, and typical age of marriage, and here you can see death rate. Mainly, the second parameter of demographic transition is the death rate. It has an inverse relationship with the standard of life in any country. The maternal mortality rate and infant mortality rate and are the chief components of death rate. In theory, in stage 1 the population remains stationary because death rate almost equals the birth rate, and the death rate remains high because of poverty, starvation, epidemics, very poor medical facilities, and others. But in second stage, the death rate declines considerably due to development of medical science and this become a root cause of expanding population as birth rate remains the same. And factors affecting country's death rate as age of country's population, nutrition level, standard of diet and housing, access to clean water, drinking water, hygiene level of infectious disease, level of violent crimes and conflicts, and number of doctors. And growth rate, the last and most important parameters of population demographic transition is the growth rate. This is the difference between the birth rate and the death rate. If both the birth rate and death rate are high, then growth rate remains low, and if any of them decreases, then it affects the growth rate simultaneously. To sum up, all these parameters are essentially correlated to each other. The countries like India are getting it hard to come out of stage 2 of demographic transition as the birth rate continues to remain high. This is called the demographic trap. Therefore, the theory of demographic transition continues to throw light on the population growth pattern. Thank you.